Assalamualaikum. I am Tala Suhail. I welcome you all to Virtual University's program on Personality Psychology. Dear students, today is our lecture number 45, and in this last lecture of Personality Psychology, we will be talking about some new directions in the discipline of Personality Psychology. तो जनाब आज आपका last lecture related to Personality Psychology, and we will be discussing some new directions and some new things in the discipline of Personality Psychology. But before moving on to that, let us recap what we did in lecture number 44. जनाब lecture number 44 में we were talking about personality appraisal, and with reference to personality appraisal आपसे बहुत डिटेल में बात रही personality assessment की, personality measurement की और experimental designs की. When it comes to personality assessment, we used a number of sources of data. We talked about number one, self-report data. We talked about observer report data, test data और life outcome data. और उसके बाद हमने देखा था कि ये जितनी भी sources हैं, इन सब में the important thing is that what information you are getting from one source should be in a position that same information should we be getting from the other source as well. That is, all sources of your personality assessment data should be linked, associated or connected together. उसके बाद हमने हर source of personality assessment data source की हमने pitfalls और disadvantages और limitations के ऊपर भी focus किया था. Then we talked about personality measurement, and with reference to personality measurement, we talked about personality tests. हमने आपसे डिटेल में बात इससे पहले भी की हुई थी. Objective personality test (MMPI). Then we talked about projective personality test, and with reference to projective personality test, जनाब Rorschach-Inkblot test, thematic apperception test (TAT), Rotter's incomplete sentence blank test (RISP), house tree person or HTP, and there are many more tests as well. But these are the classic ones which have been included. उसके बाद जनाब हमने आपसे कहा कि there are basically 3 experimental designs which are being used in personality psychology: experimental studies, correlational studies and case studies. और अभी हम इसके ऊपर एक दो points रहते थे when our lecture came to an end, so we'll talk about them and then evaluation. So dear students, we are talking about experimental designs. जनाब बात आपसे तफसील से रहेगी. Number one, experimental studies. Now in experimental studies we try to look how variable A is influencing variable B, or is it variable B which is causing variable A. So all experimental studies typically try to determine the causality. Is it A which is causing B or is it B which is causing A? उसके बाद जनाब हमने कहा कि अगर हम चाहते हैं कि एक बड़ा साउंड और एक अच्छा एक्सपेरिमेंट आप कंडक्ट करें तो देयर आर सर्टेन कंडीशंस व्हिच यू हैव टू फुलफिल. नंबर वन, manipulation of the independent variable. So first thing is manipulation, increase or decrease of the independent variable. Number two, one should ensure that both the experimental group and the control group, they are at the same level at the beginning of the experiment. And number three, random assignment of the subjects. और हम सब्जेक्ट्स को रैंडमली असाइन करें टू एक्सपेरिमेंटल ग्रुप, टू कंट्रोल ग्रुप, टू एंश्योर दैट सेम कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन आर इवनली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड इन द 2 सैंपल्स. उसके बाद जनाब we have got correlational studies. Now in correlational studies, as the name shows, we are interested in how one variable influences the other variable. The important thing over here is, number one, the magnitude of relationship between two variables, the direction of relationship between two variables, and mind you, correlational studies or correlations can never tell us about the causality, that which variable is causing the other one. So हमने पहली बात की magnitude of relationship, that is it a high correlation, a medium correlation or a low correlation score? Number two, direction of relationship, is there a positive relationship between variables or is there a negative relationship between variables? और तीसरी चीज जो हमें पता होनी चाहिए वो ये है कि कोरिलेशंस कभी भी प्रूव नहीं करते कॉज़ैलिटी फैक्टर को. The third is case study designs. In case study designs, we usually focus on one individual and an in-depth study of an individual is carried on. Now, this study can be carried on using a number of sources. आप उस इंडिविजुअल की, टारगेट इंडिविजुअल की जो भी स्पीचेस हैं या राइटिंग्स हैं उनको एनालाइज कर सकते हैं. आप उस इंडिविजुअल्स का इंटरव्यू कर सकते हैं. आप उस इंडिविजुअल की ऑडियो वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग्स कर सकते हैं ऑफ द टारगेट बिहेवियर. सो बेसिकली केस स्टडी इज फोकसिंग on in-depth study of single individual using a number of sources of information. Dear student, as far as evaluation is concerned, Janab, there are no perfect sources of data collection related to personality. Number two, there are no perfect experimental research designs. And number three, researchers and investigators always use different data sources and different experimental designs according to the goals and purposes of the research they are carrying on. So that is as far as your lecture number 44 was concerned. Now let us begin with our last lecture, and that is new directions in the discipline of personality psychology. जनाब हम बहुत तफसील से आज देखेंगे कि क्या क्या नई चीजें हमारे सामने आ रही हैं. नंबर वन, विद रेफरेंस टू डेफिनेशन ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी. नंबर टू, विद रेफरेंस टू एनालिसिस ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी. नंबर थ्री, देखेंगे जी किस तरह एक पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी को एवेलुएट करने के लिए क्या क्राइटेरिया इस्तेमाल हो रहा है. पर्सनैलिटी असेसमेंट से क्या मुराद है, पर्सपेक्टिव से क्या मुराद है, और पर्सनैलिटी रिसर्च में जो नए एरियाज आए हैं उनके ऊपर क्या फोकस है. And last, we are going to have a final word related to these new directions in the discipline of personality psychology. So, today's lecture is going to focus on some new things and how these new things are creeping in, coming in the discipline of personality psychology. So, सबसे पहली चीज है जी definition of personality. Personality is a set of traits. Personality is a set of traits or characteristics that describes the ways in which people are different from each other. Traits such as shyness or timidness, being intelligent or being dumb, being generous or being miser, being talkative or being quiet. Traits and theories of traits have performed important functions such as, number one, they help to describe people and help us to understand the dimension differences between people. Number two, traits help to explain behavior, the why component of your behavior. Number three, traits help to predict behavior, who will cope with stress better. जनाब हमारे पास सबसे पहली डेफिनेशन जो पर्सनैलिटी की आती है वो है विद रेफरेंस टू ट्रेट्स. सो ट्रेट्स आर योर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. Now, there are a number of traits which describe a personality. There are people who are shy, there are people who are timid, there are people who are generous, there are people who are miser-like. So, traits and traits theories are doing one very important thing. Number one, they describe people for you. Number two, they explain human behavior. the why part of your behavior. And number 3, they predict behavior, that is, which individual is going to cope with stress better. तो हमने कहा ट्रेड्स हैं वो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आपकी पर्सनैलिटी की जो आपको नंबर 1 डिस्क्राइब करती हैं, नंबर 2 आपके बिहेवियर को एक्सप्लेन करती हैं, and number 3 they predict your behavior. So that is why this particular definition is very important. Number 2, psychological mechanisms. They refer to the processes of personality. Most psychological mechanisms involve information processing activity. Psychological mechanisms are not activated all the time. Rather, they are activated under particular conditions or situations. जनाब दूसरी हमारे पास डेफिनेशन है and that refers to psychological mechanisms. Well, psychological mechanism refers to psychological activities, and these psychological activities are not activated all the time. Rather, when a particular situation arises, these psychological processes or mechanisms are activated. So हमने कहा पहली डेफिनेशन रिलेट करती है ट्रेड से, दूसरी डेफिनेशन रिलेट करती है साइकोलॉजिकल मैकेनिज्म्स और प्रोसेसेस और एक्टिविटीज. नंबर 3, within the individual means that personality is something that a person carries with him over time and from one situation to the next. So we are stable and consistent across time and situation. Example, we feel as the same person we were yesterday, last week or last month. So जनाब तीसरी definition which relates to within the person. So within personality means that something which is there within the person, and this something within the person is consistent and stable across time and across situation. So you are the same person you were yesterday or last week or last month. So there is stability and consistency in your personality across time and across situations. Number 4, personality is organized. Personality is organized because traits and mechanisms are organized or linked to one another in a coherent fashion. Suppose that you have 2 desires or needs and you are hungry and you have to appear for a job interview and there is no time left for eating. Our personality is organized in the sense that it contains decision rules which govern and control which needs are to be activated and which needs are to be inactive. So in the example, the hunger need is to be inactive or passive, and the need for preparation for the interview is to be activated. So हमने कहा कि personality is organized. Personality is organized in such a manner and in such a fashion that your personality traits and psychological mechanisms, they are coherent to one another. There is no chaos. और उसके लिए हमने मिसाल ये दी कि suppose you have got 2 needs or 2 desires simultaneously within you. आपको बहुत शदीद भूख लगी हुई और दूसरे आपको एक बहुत अहम जॉब इंटरव्यू के ऊपर जाना है और आपके पास टाइम बहुत कम है. So within your personality contains a set of decision rules. These set of decision rules, they govern you, they control you, and they are the ones which for the time being are going to activate one need and inactivate the other need. So that need which is to prepare and to run for the job interview is to be activated, and that particular need which is for hunger is to become inactive. So your personality is organized and your personality contains a set of decision rules, and these decision rules are the ones which govern and control you, and these are the ones which activate certain needs and certain needs are made inactive for time being. तो जब आपका जॉब इंटरव्यू हो जाएगा और जब बहुत अच्छा होगा तो फिर आप उसके बाद you can satiate yourself, you can eat and you can have as much food and drink as you like. Number 5, influential forces. Influential forces in personality means that traits and mechanisms can act as influence. How we act, how we view ourselves, how we feel, how we interact with the world, and how we select our environment, how we react to circumstances. So personality plays a key role in how people shape their lives. So जनाब, fifth important definition is about influences on the personality. और ये influences जो आपकी personality के ऊपर हैं, ये आपकी personality को shape करते हैं. और ये influences हैं जो आपको guide करते हैं how you are to think, how you are to feel, how you are to view things, how you are to react. So basically all these influences, all these forces, they shape your personality, they shape your life. Number 6, person-environment interaction. Person-environment interaction is perhaps a difficult and complex feature of personality. Perception refers to how we see and interpret environment. For example, a smile of a clown and a smile of a stranger are seen and interpreted differently. One as a friendly gesture and the other with suspicion. Dear students, we are talking to you about another important thing, and that is person-environment interaction. Now this is perhaps the most difficult and the most complex thing. That is how an individual, how a person interacts with an environment. जनाब, इस interaction में, person-environment interaction में, one very important thing is perception. Perception is sensation plus meaning. How you see things and how you interpret, that is how you give meaning to what you are seeing. So एक example है आपके पास कि a smile of a clown and smile of a stranger. So if the clown is smiling towards you, that is taken as a friendly gesture. And if a stranger smiles towards you, that is taken with suspicion. तो behavior वही universal है, smile, लेकिन अगर clown आपकी तरफ smile कर रहा है तो आप perceive कर रही हैं उसे as a friendly gesture, और अगर stranger आपकी तरफ smile करके देखते हैं तो you perceive it with suspicion. So the thing is that person-environment interaction is quite different, difficult, and a complex phenomena. Number 7, adaptation. Adaptation conveys the notion that the central feature of personality concerns adaptive functioning, such as accomplishing goals, coping, adjusting, and dealing with challenges and problems we face as we go through life. So, Janab, seventh important definition that refers with adaptation. All of us are going through our life. We face things, we cope with stress, we adjust with stress, we adapt with stress. So, the important thing is that how an individual develops adaptation with an event, with a phenomena. बहुत सारे इंडिविजुअल्स हैं जो स्ट्रेस से बड़े आराम से कूप करते हैं, अडेप्ट करते हैं, एडजस्ट करते हैं. देयर आर पीपल हु हैव डिफिकल्टीज इन एडजस्टिंग टू डिफरेंट स्ट्रेसर्स. सो ऑल ऑफ अस आर फेसिंग challenges and problems in our life. So how do we adapt ourselves to these challenges, to these problems which we come across in our normal everyday life? Example, people who worry a lot receive a lot of social support and encouragement as a reward. Therefore, they adapt to the concept of worrying. जनाब बात ये हो रही है कि हम में से बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो हर वक्त बहुत परेशान रहते हैं, who are in habit of worrying about things. So why they have adopted this mechanism? Because when they worry about things, people support them, people somehow reward this behavior, so they hang on to this behavior of giving a worried look. The physical environment often poses challenges for people. Some of these are direct threats to the survival, such as extreme temperatures, snakes, spiders, height. Social environment also poses challenges such as we desire friends, mates, love, belongingness, and unconditional positive regard. Number 3, intrapsychic environment. We have memories, dreams, desires, fantasies, and a collection of private experiences we live every day. The 3 physical, social, intrapsychic environments are the ones which are equally important for the survival of individual. Now, another important thing is environment. When we refer to environment, there's physical environment, psychological environment, intrapsychic environment. When we are talking about physical environment, mind you, all things such as extreme temperatures, snakes, spiders, let's say all those things which are a source of physical threat to the person. So physical environment would include that. Social environment, we need friends, we need love, we need the feeling of belongingness to a group. So that social environment provided by your family, by your friends, by your associates, by your work colleagues is important. So that is your social environment. Number 3, intrapsychic environment. Your thinking, your dreams, your perceptions, your set of desires, well, they make up your intrapsychic environment. Janab, the 3 of them, the physical environment, the social environment, the intrapsychic environment, they are equally important for the survival of the individual. बात आपसे रही और बहुत डिटेल में रही कि हमने ये देखा कि कौन सी हमारे पास नई किस्म की डेफिनेशंस हैं रिलेटेड टू पर्सनैलिटी, जिसमें हमने देखा कि हमारे पास डेफिनेशन हैं जो फोकस कर रही हैं ट्रेड्स के ऊपर, डेफिनेशंस हैं जो फोकस कर रही हैं साइकोलॉजिकल मैकेनिज्म्स और प्रोसेसेस पे, डेफिनेशंस व्हिच आर फोकसिंग ऑन ट्रेड्स एज वेल एज साइकोलॉजिकल मैकेनिज्म्स, अडेप्टेशन के ऊपर फोकस करें. There are definitions which are focusing on environment. There are definitions which are focusing on person-environment interaction and why that interaction is difficult, complex and important. The thing is that personality psychology today takes into account each and every definition, because each and every definition provides a new source of information related to your personality, related to my personality. That is why each set of definitions is taken as an important piece of information. Number 2, we'll be talking about 3 levels of personality analysis. जनाब आपसे बात करेंगे 3 levels of personality analysis. 3 levels of personality analysis. Now every individual is in certain respects. Number 1, like all others, the human nature level. Number 2, like some others, the level of individual and group differences. And number 3, like no others, the individual uniqueness level. तो 3 level of analysis हैं. Like all others यानी human nature level. Number 2, like some others जहाँ पे individual और group differences आएंगे. And number 3, like no others, that is every individual is very unique. ये 3 levels हैं जिनके ऊपर आपसे बात करेंगे. Let's talk about the first one. Number 1, like all others, the human nature level, the traits or mechanisms possessed by all of us. For example, nearly every human being has language skills which allows him or her to learn and use language. So spoken language is a universal human nature. At the psychological level, all humans possesses fundamental psychological mechanisms, for example, to live in harmony and to belong to social groups. So there are many ways in which each person is like every other person. So the first level of analysis, like all others. So language is one, spoken language is one thing where all human beings are resembling one another. At the psychological level, all human beings want to live in harmony and peace with one another, and they want to live peacefully, and they want to have their presence in certain social groups. So spoken language and living in harmony and peace and being part and parcel of a social group are the characteristics which we say every individual is like all others. Number 2, like some others, the level of individual and group differences. This second level pertains to individual and group differences. Individual differences, there are people who love to go out, have parties and socialize, while we have people who want to be alone, read a book or listen to music. So there are ways or dimensions in which each person is like some others, that is like introverts or extroverts. Group differences, people in one group may have certain personality features in common, and these common features make them different from other groups. Examples, different cultures, different age groups, different genders and different political parties. तो जनाब दूसरा हमारे पास लेवल ऑफ एनालिसिस लाइक सम अदर्स. तो कुछ यूं है कि इंडिविजुअली हम में से कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो पार्टी पे जाना पसंद करते हैं, बाहर जाना पसंद करते हैं, और कुछ ऐसे हैं जो घर में रहना पसंद करते हैं, किताब पढ़ना पसंद करते हैं, म्यूजिक सुनना पसंद करते हैं. दे वांट टू बी अलोन. So we have got individuals who are like introverts or like extroverts. Then we have got group differences, and these group differences are across cultures, across different age groups, across different genders and across different political parties. So at the second level of analysis, we see that an individual is like some others, that is individually as well as group differences are there. Number 3, like no others, the individual uniqueness level. No two individuals, not even identical twins raised by the same parents in the same home, in the same country, in the same culture, have exactly the same personalities. Personality psychology focuses on the uniqueness of individual differences. The important point is that personality psychology is concerned with all the 3 levels of analysis. Number 1, like all others. Number 2, like some others. And number 3, like no others. Number 1, like all others, the universal level. Number 2, like some others, the individual and group level. And number 3, like no others, the individual uniqueness level. तो जनाब हमने कहा थर्ड लेवल इज वेयर लाइक नो अदर्स. वी से दैट इवन द आइडेंटिकल ट्विन्स रेज्ड बाय सेम पेरेंट्स, सेम होम, सेम कंट्री, सेम कल्चर, येट दे आर डिफरेंट, दे आर यूनिक. अब जनाब जब हम पहले लेवल की बात करते हैं लाइक सम अदर्स, लाइक ऑल अदर्स, तो फिर हम बात करें यूनिवर्सल लेवल. व्हेन वी से लाइक ऑल अदर्स, दैट इज द यूनिवर्सल लेवल. जब दूसरे लेवल की बात करते हैं लाइक सम अदर्स, दैट इज इंडिविजुअल एंड ग्रुप लेवल. और जब हम बात करते हैं लाइक नो अदर्स, दैट इज टोटली यूनिकनेस लेवल, दैट एवरी इंडिविजुअल इज टोटली यूनिक एंड डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द अदर वन. Number 3, criteria for evaluation of theory. Criteria for evaluation of personality theory. Number 1, verifiability. Number 2, heuristic value. Number 3, internal consistency. Number 4, parsimony. Number 5, comprehensiveness. And number 6, functional significance. जनाब बात कुछ यूं है कि जितनी theories of personality हैं उन सब theories of personality को evaluate करने के लिए we have got a criteria. And the 6 components of this criteria are important. ये 6 के 6 कंपोनेंट्स जो हैं इनके ऊपर हर पर्सनालिटी थ्योरी को पूरा उतरना चाहिए। इफ नॉट ऑल ऑफ दीज कंपोनेंट्स, वेल मोस्ट ऑफ द कंपोनेंट्स। आपने जनाब 17 पर्सनालिटी थ्योरीज की, जिसमें आपने की फ्रॉइड की थ्योरी, यूंग की थ्योरी, एडलर की थ्योरी, कैरन हॉर्नीज थ्योरी, एरिक एरिक्सन्स थ्योरी, मैस्लोस थ्योरी, रॉजर्स थ्योरी, मरेस थ्योरी, शेल्डन्स थ्योरी, सलिवन्स थ्योरी, ऑलपॉट्स थ्योरी, कैटल्स थ्योरी, डॉलर्ड एंड मिलर्स थ्योरी, बंडूरास थ्योरी, स्किनर्स थ्योरी, एल्बर्ट एलिस थ्योरी एंड कैलीस थ्योरी। क्लेम ये सारे पर्सनालिटी थ्योरिस्ट ये करते हैं कि देयर थ्योरीज फुलफिल मोस्ट ऑफ द क्राइटेरियाज ऑफ अ गुड पर्सनालिटी थ्योरी। तो ये जितनी थ्योरीज आपने की ये बहुत कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव हैं, बहुत डिटेल्ड हैं, बहुत अच्छी हैं, लेकिन ये इनमें से कोई एक थ्योरी भी ऐसी नहीं जो कि ये 6 के 6 क्राइटेरियाज के ऊपर पूरी की पूरी उतरे। They do fulfill most of the criteria used in evaluating a personality theory. क्या पर्सनैलिटी साइकोलॉजी में कोई अल्टीमेट ग्रैंड फैबुलस किस्म की पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी है? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं। तो क्या खुसूसियत होनी चाहिए किसी अच्छी पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी में कि हम उसे द साइंस ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी साइकोलॉजी में इंक्लूड करें? अ गुड थ्योरी ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी इज वन that fulfills 3 purposes in science. Number 1, provides a guideline to the researcher. Number 2, organizes the known available findings. And number 3, makes predictions. तो जनाब, एक अच्छी पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी, एक साउंड पर्सनैलिटी थ्योरी वो है जो कि 3 क्राइटेरियाज के ऊपर पूरी उतरे। नंबर 1, it provides a guideline to the researchers. Number 2, it organizes the known available findings. And number 3, it makes predictions. So अगर ये 3 खुसूसियात, ये 3 क्वालिटीज किसी भी थ्योरी में हैं तो that is a good personality theory and that is included in the realm of the science of personality psychology. Dear students, we even discussed with you at length that personality can be approached, it can be studied using the 6 domains. So the 6 perspectives or the 6 domains can be used in studying personality, in interpreting personality. वो 6 domains और 6 perspectives क्या हैं जी? Number 1, dispositional perspective. Number 2, biological perspective. Number 3, intrapsychic perspective. Number 4, the cognitive or the experiential perspective. Number 5, social and cultural perspective. And number 6, the adjustment perspective. Each and every perspective, ये जितने भी perspectives हैं, it tries to explain human personality and human nature. And under each perspective, mind you, we have covered at least 2 to 3 comprehensive theories of personality in detail. बिल्कुल सही जनाब, हमने हर पर्सपेक्टिव में जो है वो कोई ना कोई 2 या 3 थ्योरीज इंक्लूड की हुई हैं। जितनी भी आपको पर्सनैलिटी साइकोलॉजी की किताबें मिलेंगी उसमें द डिस्पोजिशनल पर्सपेक्टिव, द बायोलॉजिकल पर्सपेक्टिव, द इंट्रासाइकिक पर्सपेक्टिव, कॉग्निटिव एंड एक्सपीरियंशियल पर्सपेक्टिव, सोशल एंड कल्चरल पर्सपेक्टिव. It is up till these 5 perspectives you get in every book. But it is the adjustment perspective, the 6th one, the new direction in personality psychology, that is adjustment, adaptation, coping, adapting to the stressors or to different sources of stresses in your life. That is a new thing and that is available only in latest books, जो कि आपको 2003-2004 में नजर आती है, वहां पे मिलेगा. पर्सनैलिटी असेसमेंट. पर्सनैलिटी असेसमेंट इंक्लूड सोर्सेज ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी डाटा, दैट इज सेल्फ रिपोर्ट डाटा, एस डाटा. नंबर 2, ऑब्जर्वर रिपोर्ट डाटा और द ओ डाटा. नंबर 3, द टेस्ट डाटा और द टी डाटा. Number 4, life outcome data or the L data. Number 2, issues in personality assessment, that is links in data sources and pitfalls. Personality measurement would include psychological tests, certainly personality tests, that is objective tests, MMPI-1 and MMPI-2, projective tests, a big list of projective tests. Number 2, evaluation of personality measures by using reliability, validity and generalizability. Dear students, when it comes to personality assessment and personality measurement, personality assessment can be done using a number of sources of data. Self-report data or the S data, observer report data or the O data, then it comes to test data or the T data, and the life outcome data or the L data. Now, whatever source of information you are using related to collecting data about personality, you got to make sure that what information you are gathering from one source, does the same set of information comes through the other source of data collection or not. Number 2, there are always pitfalls, there are always limitations in one source of data. इसके बाद हमने पर्सनैलिटी मेजर्स की आपसे बहुत तफसील से बात की. हमने कहा बहुत सारे पर्सनैलिटी मेजरमेंट टेस्ट हैं, जिसमें ऑब्जेक्टिव टेस्ट है MMPI-1, MMPI-2, देन वी हैव गॉट प्रोजेक्टिव टेस्ट, Rorschach blot test, TAT, that is thematic apperception test, Rotter's incomplete sentence blank test, RISB, and HTP house tree person. There are many more projective personality tests as well. जितने भी personality measures आप इस्तेमाल करते हैं, they should be number 1 reliable, number 2 valid, and number 3 they should have generalizability. जब हमने बात की validity की, that is a test measuring what it has been designed to measure. Number 2, does it give reliable कंसिस्टेंट रिजल्ट्स, यानी एक दफ़ा पर्सनैलिटी मेजरमेंट में जो ट्रेड्स और कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आई, जब आपने उसी टेस्ट को दोबारा इस्तेमाल किया तो वही ट्रेड्स मेजर हुई या कोई दूसरी ट्रेड्स मेजर हुई. एंड नंबर 3, कैन यू जनरलाइज दिस इंफॉर्मेशन. सो वैलिडिटी, रिलायबिलिटी एंड जनरलाइजेबिलिटी ऑफ योर पर्सनैलिटी मेजर्स. उसके बाद जनाब हम बात आपसे कर रहे थे एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिज़ाइंस की. हमने कहा कि इन रिसर्च साइकोलॉजी वी यूज अ नंबर ऑफ रिसर्च डिज़ाइंस, जिसमें नंबर 1 एक्सपेरिमेंटल स्टडीज, नंबर 2 कोरिलेशनल स्टडीज एंड नंबर 3 केस स्टडीज. सो इन एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिज़ाइंस द फोकस इज on finding out the causality variable, that is A causing B or is it B which is causing A. So we are in experimental studies trying to locate which variable is the causal factor. हम जब भी कोई साउंड एक्सपेरिमेंट कंडक्ट करना चाहते हैं तो we should be very careful when it comes to manipulation of the variables. Number 2, when we are designing the experimental and the control group, and number 3, the random assignment of subjects to experimental and control group. Correlational studies, they focus on finding out number 1 the magnitude of relationship, the direction of relationship, and case studies design, they focus in-depth study and analysis on a single individual. Number 6, new directions in personality research. Number 1, study of cognitive processes and their relationship to other aspects of psychological functioning. Number 2, study of specially productive, talented and creative people. जनाब उसके बाद हमारा फोकस है कि वो कौन से ऐसे एरियाज हैं पर्सनैलिटी रिसर्च में जिनके ऊपर अभी तक फोकस नहीं हुआ. सो सबसे पहली चीज़ कि the focus should be on study of cognitive processes and their relationship to other aspects of psychological functioning. So how cognitive variables are affecting your other areas of functioning. Number 2, we should focus on creative, talented people, or let's say we should try to study the fully self-actualized individuals or the fully functioning individuals. Number 3, the study of physiological and neurological determinants of personality. हमें ये देखना होगा physiological और neurological determinants of personality या physiological neurological basis of personality क्या है. आप physiologically function करते हैं और किस तरह आपकी brain, neurotransmitters and the firing of the neurons, well, you got to take them into account because they are the very basis of personality development. Number 4, study of personality development in middle and old age. Number 5, study of self-regulatory processes and plans. तो जनाब study of individual in middle age and in old age. सारी personality theories का जो focus है वो childhood के ऊपर. So they have neglected the middle age and the old age. So they should take into account certainly childhood, middle age and the old age. उसके बाद study of self-regulatory processes and plans, and number 6, study of the interaction of situational factors and personality variables and their relative contribution to personality and behavior. Number 7, study of problems relevant to the practical world of human affairs. Now these are some of the new directions, new areas which personality psychology theories should take into account. Personality psychology research should focus on these new areas and should work on them. A final word. Number 1, much about personality domain remains unknown. Number 2, the best explanation related to personality psychology comes from theories of personality. And number 3, if a psychological problem arises, select and choose those therapeutic techniques that you think is best suitable for the person. Dear students, let's have a final word with you. Number 1, there's a lot of things about personality domain which are still unknown. Personality still is a mystery. Personality still has got so many areas which we are not aware about. So the first thing is there's a lot of information which is still needed about personality. There's a lot of research which still has to be carried on the different aspects of personality psychology. Number 2, हमने कहा भी बहुत कुछ ऐसा है जिसके बारे में आपको कुछ नहीं पता. Number 2, हमने कहा कि the best explanation of personality comes from theories of personality. यानी आपने जितनी theories of personality की, जिस भी perspective, जिस भी domain की, वो सारी की सारी हमारे behavior को, हमारी personality को बहुत अच्छे तरीके से explain करते हैं. Number 3, if you have a psychological problem, if you have something which is disturbing you, select a therapeutic technique and try to study your problem using that technique. So it's very important that to take into account that there are still things which are not known about personality psychology. Number 2, the best explanation of personality comes through theories of personality. And number 3, if a psychological problems arise, one should take a psychological mechanism, a technique and try to solve it psychologically, not by artificially or by cosmetic surgery. So dear students, that brings us to the end of our lecture, that is new directions in the discipline of personality psychology. Dear students, this course of personality psychology was a vast territory, and this vast territory forms a very important vital fabric of modern psychology, and certainly this vast extensive territory included the whole total person, the whole of you, the whole of me. Now, this course of personality psychology, we had certain objectives laid down, and I claim that we have achieved those objectives, which are: number 1, an integrated and clear concept of personality has been established. Number 2, an understanding of personality assessment and measurement has been created. Number 3, all important theories of personality discussed. Number 4, the key themes in the theories of personality identified. And number 5, elaboration of each personality theory and its concepts with examples from Pakistani culture. And number 6, focus on self understanding and self analysis. जनाब, हमने बहुत सारे objectives claim किए हैं कि हमने पूरे किए हैं. Number 1, there is a clear concept of what is personality. Personality assessment and measurement is very much there within you. What is personality assessment and what is personality measurement? The important significant theories of personality have been covered with you. Number 4, all the key themes in the personality theories have been identified. Number 5, all the key themes, concepts have been identified and explained and made clear to you with the use of examples from Pakistani culture. And number 6, very important thing, the focus has been on self-understanding and self-analysis. कि क्या आप अपने को जानना, self-understanding और self-analysis आपके अंदर है, and that is through the course of personality psychology. Benefits to students who are enrolled in different courses at VU in following ways. Number 1, personality growth and development focus, that is self-actualization and self-esteem. Number 2, clarity about self and academic goals. Number 3, adapt to changes in society and environment, that is technological advances. Number 4, academic pressures can be reduced by learning new skills, that is life skills, and that is stress management. And number 5, academic performance can be enhanced knowing your personality traits. Benefits of personality psychology course. Number 1, at individual level, self-understanding, analysis and adjustment. Number 2, community level, understanding group differences. And number 3, national level, each personality theory and its concepts have been discussed with examples from Pakistani culture to help Pakistani people live their lives more fully and satisfyingly, highlighting healthy patterns of self-growth. तो जनाब, क्लेम हम ये करें कि ये जो कोर्स है पर्सनालिटी साइकोलॉजी का, it has been beneficial to all students who are enrolled in different courses at virtual university. और beneficial जब हम कहते हैं तो it's beneficial in a number of ways. Number 1, it's leading to personality growth and development. Number 2, clarity about self and academic goals. Number 3, adapting to changes in society and environment. And number 4, academic pressures can be reduced by learning new skills, that is stress management. And number 5, academic performance can be enhanced knowing your personality traits. इसके अलावा जनाब हमने आपके साथ कुछ और बेनिफिट्स भी डिस्कस किए. हमने कहा कि कुछ बेनिफिट्स हैं जो इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे, कुछ कम्युनिटी लेवल पे हैं और कुछ नेशनल लेवल पे. जब हम इंडिविजुअल बेनिफिट्स की बात करते हैं तो इट्स फोकसिंग ऑन सेल्फ अंडरस्टैंडिंग, सेल्फ एनालिसिस एंड सेल्फ एडजस्टमेंट. और जब हम कम्युनिटी लेवल की बात करते हैं तो द बेनिफिट इज ऑन अंडरस्टैंडिंग ग्रुप डिफरेंसेस. और जब हम बात करते हैं नेशनल लेवल की तो ये कोर्स पढ़ने से यू आर इन अ बेटर पोजीशन टू अंडरस्टैंड द पाकिस्तानी पर्सनैलिटी और द पाकिस्तानी कैरेक्टर and how you can live your life more in a more satisfying way by practicing self growth and self enhancement. So this course in itself is helping the individual, the community and the whole of the nation as well. Applications. This course of personality psychology can be a real asset to number 1 business and economics students, number 2 law students, number 3 medical students, number 4 human resource managers and students, number 5 administration and public affairs students, number 6 mass communication students, and number 7 literature and language students. So dear students, this course, those students who have studied this course, it's beneficial to them as well as it's beneficial to each and every discipline that is being taught in your university. चाहे वो medical students हो, चाहे वो economics के students हो, चाहे business students हो, चाहे human resource managers हो या students हो, चाहे administration और public affairs के students हो, mass comm के students हो, literature या language के हो, हर एक के लिए understanding personality, your personality as well as personality of others is important. Conscious efforts to understand and resolve intrapsychic and extrapsychic conflicts, which often are the primary irritants in our society. With personality psychology knowledge, you can smooth out these irritants. This course would have given you an opportunity to be a congenial personality for yourself as well as for others. तो जनाब, इस कोर्स को पढ़ने का सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये है कि you should become a congenial personality for yourself as well as for others. और पर्सनैलिटी साइकोलॉजी की नॉलेज के साथ वो इरिटेंट्स जो आपकी सोसाइटी में हैं उनको स्मूथ आउट करने का आपके पास एक बहुत आइडियल अपॉर्चुनिटी है. डियर स्टूडेंट्स, it has been a great teaching experience. I thoroughly enjoyed teaching personality psychology course to all of you, and my final words of recommendation would be to what has been taught, apply it in your real life, at the home, at the school and at the community level. Provide support and guidance to family, friends and workplace communities in times of conflict and try to resolve these conflicts. Develop and enhance your potentials and strengths and help Pakistan become a great country with a nation who is responsive and aware of different personalities. And this diversity of personalities, if combined positively, can help Pakistan become a heaven on earth. So that is the important point. तो जनाब, बात आपसे ये है कि इस कोर्स के पढ़ने से आपको जो जो फ़वाइद हासिल हुए उसमें सबसे बड़ा ये है, you should be able to help your friends, work colleagues at home, at workplace, at community. So dear students, take very good care of yourself. God bless all of you, and may there be blessings of Allah on you in all your future endeavors. Thank you so much, and Khuda Hafiz.